Mm, Okay, today, like basically about 2 hours ago, I saw the Avenger End Game trailer, and just giving my quick thoughts on it. The trailer dropped like 3 hours before, so I saw it around 9 o'clock. So I'm guessing that they had it up. No, not 9 o'clock, but closer to 10. So I think that the trailer went up around uh, about 6 o'clock our time, and that would make it 9 o'clock Eastern. So, uh, so I was kind of caught off guard by it, and I was working late, so I wasn't awake when the thing dropped. So basically, it's a good trailer. It picks up showing the aftermath of the snap, and giving just enough information to give you a tone of what is going on. So we open up with Tony Stark, lost in space, facing what he thinks is imminent death, and leaving a last message for Pepper. Captain America and the rest are still mourning for the loss of all the people, and Thanos is on his planet being a farmer. So we are seeing the aftermath, the impact of it, and then we get a sense of that they are organizing a plan uh, for the future without certainty. Uh, Basically, uh, Black Widow says to Captain America, um, he says, "You sure this going to work?" And he says, "Yes, because I can't." Captain America responds, uh, "Yes, because I can't imagine if it didn't," making clear that this is an all or nothing gambit, that they're going to go for broke for this. And it ends with, and so we get the reformed A with with the Avengers title, which is Endgame, which is what they said when it the Russos basically said, "Oh, we're not going to call it that. We're going to call it something else." And so they've been teased. So there's been like this tease. I think it was intentional putting out the title uh, Annihilation as a way of throwing us off, but uh, it is the end. The As the title suggests, this is the end game. This is the all or nothing move that will decide the fate of the universe. And so it ends with Scott Lang's popping up at the Avengers HQ monitor, and popping up at the Avengers HQ monitor saying, "Hey, remember me? We uh, we met in Germany, and when I'm Scott Lang, Ant Man. You remember that?" And, he's being essentially himself, um, and the Black Widow and Captain America. Well, basically, Captain America can't believe it because because earlier in the shot you see a picture of Scott Lang under the uh, uh, missing because they know that Scott's team has disappeared. So they're assuming that Scott disappeared along with them. Um, and and he did go into the quantum. He was stuck in the quantum realm. So we now know he gets out. And so when he pops up, they had assumed that he had disappeared with the snap of the rest of his team. So it's a So when he pops up, it it comes as a surprise. So what do we think is going to happen? Well, it's kind of hard to tell because 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 the trailer gives very little information. But I postulate that that either uh, because of some information that uh, Iron Man will be rescued. I think either by Captain Marvel or by some other being out in space, and either Captain Marvel or that being would take him to the being that he must meet to postulate part of the plan. While Scott Lang will pop up in Adventure HQ and explain how he got out and how he can use his technology to help them uh, undo what's going on at the same time. Basically, at the same time. So at some point, these two storylines are going to end up meeting, and they're going to do the travel back in time part. The one part I do wish that they do when that he pops up, he doesn't explain. He pops up. We don't see what happened, but he just pops. That Ant Man just pops up and be uh, pop up with no explanation how he got there. And then when they finally do talk to him, that he like Michael Pena explained his story and uh, and to show that he kind of telling his story uh, the same way Michael Pena tells stories in the Ant Man series, but badly. And so I think it'd be humorous if he did it like, he's trying to explain the story in the details, and everybody's just kind of interrupting, like, what, uh, how? It's like that because he's so bad at doing that that he that everyone just kind of comes off confused initially until Tony Stark pops up and pieces everything together and says, "Okay, I think I know what we need to do from that point on." But I do think that um, what's going to happen is that we're going to have like three things happen all at once. So basically, you have uh, Iron Man's continuing story while in space. You have uh, Iron Man's story while Iron Man's story while in on Earth, trying to organize everything and start formulating a plan. And then you have Thanos' story uh, underpinning everything, in that his quiet private life on that farm is going to get interrupted either by the activities that are going on with the that the Avengers are doing, or there is or like in the comic books, the greater powers, the Eternals step in and start to demand answers from what's going on, and he is going to realize uh, that the Avengers are trying to undo what he's doing, and I think in the end, uh, when the final conflict, comes and all is said and done, Thanos isn't killed, but is defeated, and in the process of his defeat, he comes to realize that his thought process was wrong, and he changes um, because of it. And he comes to realize that he was the one that was being inflexible, that he was the one being uh, unreasonable, that his that he had allowed his thought processes to basically blind him to what was the reality going on all the time. So I'm looking forward for when the film comes out. Thank you, and time out.